everybody. It's Wayne again. We're going to do some English custard tarts. And we'll start off with cracking 7 eggs in a bowl. And then we add half a pound of white sugar. A pinch of salt. Maybe just a little bit more. Okay. We add our milk, 1 quart of milk, or 4 cups.
And that's homogenized milk?
Yes. You can use 2% if you like to. Now, vanilla extract. Some people might use a tablespoon. I just put in a little gurgle. When you're mixing it with a whisk, if your milk mixture looks brown, you put too much vanilla in it. So as long as it still looks fairly yellow from the yolk.
Okay, so we've just sprayed our pan with a little bit of vegetable oil so that we can get our custard tarts out of the pan. And now we're gonna roll our shells. We've got our pastry, and we made that in a video last week, so if you want to learn how to make pastry properly, just click back through our videos and we'll have the link in the description. So when you're rolling out your pastry, you want your pastry dough to be about 1/8 of an inch thick. And that's perfect. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our pastry shells. And the best thing for this is actually a little yogurt container, and you can poke a little air hole in the bottom and it makes the perfect shape.
Okay, so when you're crimping it in, make sure you don't have like something bent down like that, because your filling will get in behind and you'll have a heck of a time getting them out of the pans. So you always have to make sure that when you crimp your pastry, that you keep these upright.
We're ready to put in the egg mixture. One thing you don't want to do is overflow this. You want to keep it just a little bit under your pastry line on your tray. It's good. Okay, now that we've got our mixture poured into our pastry cups, all we need now to finish it off is a sprinkle of nutmeg on each one that we freshly grated. Well, you can smell that nutmeg. Oh.
Perfect.
Anyways, there's a little story behind this. When our family ran the bakery up in Tobermory, one day we were in the back doing our baking, and we had an old gentleman. He came in, he opened up the door where it said employees. He just walked right by the sign and went in, and he stood there watching me over my table with his arms folded. His wife was out in the store, and she kept sticking her head through the door telling her husband to get out, to leave those poor people alone, quit bothering them. I was about 50 years old at the time, and he'd be in his late 70s. My wife came over to me and said, "Are you gonna escort that gentleman out?" And I said, "Let's hear what he has to say." And so I said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "I used to own and run a bakery in Niagara-on-the-Lake, the biggest bakery that was there. He says, I've been watching the way you bake it. Would you be interested in me giving you some of my recipes if you want to try them that we found very successful?" And I said, "Sure." This was one of them. He said he had so many British tourists craving these tarts that he says it made him a fortune. And so I said, okay, have you got it written down? He says, yes, I do. It's right here. And he gave me the recipe, my wife and I, and I said, what do we got to lose? We tried it the next day. And he was damn right. We couldn't keep them on the shelf. And that's the story of these. That's how we got this recipe. So we put our English custard tarts in the oven for 375 for 20 minutes, or when you go to check them, you just give the tray just a little shake, and if the egg is firm, they're done. If it's still jelly, give them another couple minutes.
We'll give them a jiggle. They look nice and firm.
Okay.
Perfect. And we'll take one of these out in a minute and have one.
Cool down a little bit.
Great. So here's our custard tart, our English custard tart, and Mom's gonna cut it so you can see what the filling on the inside looks like. I like to eat these warm. Preference. Oh, perfect. Beautiful.
Yep.
Oh, damn good. These are my absolute favorite. Just like I remember them.